Hello, welcome back to HLS Crypto, or welcome if you are new. My name's Dan. Let me just move this out the way. So, if I started a crypto portfolio in 2023, I'd do this. Now, the first thing is you have to start. So, a lot of people may be on the fence and go, "Oh, I'll wait for anything that comes up, maybe get lower prices, things like that," and that's understandable. It's kind of human nature. You're always wondering when the best time to get in is. In reality, the best time is probably 2013, when you can get like Bitcoin for like 3p or something ridiculous. Um, but also now, the best time would have been maybe 12 months ago. Trying to DCA in from there and carry on going forward. But ultimately, we can't look in the past. We have to look at what we're doing now. So as of today, what would be the best thing to do? So the best thing to do is to start today, in my opinion. So first thing is you have to start. I do understand as well, and I mentioned it yesterday in my most recent video about, in the UK alone, that the Bank of England have put their interest rates up to 5.25%, which again is probably getting very close to the 2008 financial crash levels, which mean that obviously if the stock market and everything else goes down, then it's likely that, well, it's not likely, it's almost inevitable that crypto will also, dip dramatically. If that happens, great. We can bring that average buying price down. So there are positives and negatives to it. Obviously, it'll make your portfolio look a bit like shit for a little while, but if you're DCAing at them levels, then that'll soon balance that out, and that's something. So it's remaining calm. You got to have a level head. You don't want to be freaking out over the slightest bit of news. Then I would choose 5 altcoins. So if you've not got a lot of money to play with, if you've got, like I say, 500,000, a million that you can just start, chucking into the markets, then obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum will do you a world of good, because you're going to get obviously a less X. So maybe 2, 3X Bitcoin, Ethereum, 5X. That's absolutely fine if you've got big money to play with. But the vast majority of us, the ones who I think are playing this game, don't have them kind of funds. So for me, you've got to look into your altcoins. You've got to try and do a bit of research, find out what you think is going to give you decent returns, and then dollar cost average into those. Now you can dollar cost average daily. I don't like daily. I think it's a strange way to do it. Some people do it. That's fine. It's up to yourself. Some people do weekly, which is okay again, or there's monthly, which again is more the way I try and do it. But sometimes I'll allocate that monthly DCA and maybe do it 2 times in that month, for instance. So I'll just break the bag into two and then go in the markets when you can kind of see opportunities. So for me, my 5 favorite holdings for this particular example is Quant, which I think is a massive coin. It's going to be a big player in the next bull market. CSPR, Casper, not the KAS one, which I know is going massive at the minute, and everyone's talking about that. Maybe we'll do a video on that, in the next few days. HBAR, which again, big potential. Gala and Trias. Now, there's a video on a couple of these coins already out on the channel with a bit more information about those. Again, I suggest you always do your own research. So decide your budget per month, that you can get invested. So for some people that might be $100, it might be $200, $500, could be $1,000. It depends what your level is at. Some people are doing $10,000, some people are doing $50,000. Again, you always have to look at what range you're in and then try and work out the best way to do it for you. But if you're coming in with a relatively small amount of money, if you go with your 5 altcoins, you DCA into them, you build up your positions as best you can. And then after that, if you want to take a bit more speculative plays along the way, so maybe like get your labs group in, maybe your VXV, you can do that. Again, allocate accordingly to what your risk tolerance is. So from August now, which is what we're in now, 2023, to April 2024, you've got like 9 months. So that's a 9-month gap. So if you can get £100 a month in, that'll get you £900, $900 effectively. If you 10x that, that's 9k. That's not bad. If you're coming in with these levels, would that help you? It's not going to change your life. If you're coming in with them levels, particularly now at this stage of as we're getting approaching that Bitcoin halvening, is it going to change your life? Probably not. I mean, it may do. It depends what where you are at the minute and what your targets are and what your dreams are. But 9k is probably not going to. You're not going to be able to walk away from your job, for instance. Now, if you do 500 a month, that's $4,500. 10x that, 45k. That's starting to get a bit more interesting. You can maybe start doing a bit more things with that. You might get that car that you want, or you might be able to go on that holiday with your family, a luxury holiday. Maybe I just get the things that maybe you want right now, and you know that it's gonna take a lot of money to get. Whereas 45k again, I don't think that's enough for people to just then start walking out their jobs and stuff. So it's one of them. And at the minute, if you got 1k a month in, you're talking 9k before in April essentially. 10x that is 90k. So we're starting to get a little bit more interest now. 90k, and then you might be able to start thinking, well, I could maybe get 3 years out of my employment and like kind of go on to look at what you want to do, maybe build some e-commerce or build a business. However you want to play that, it gives you that bit of time. So to make that easy 6 figures, you need to be trying to get 10k into the market, as you need to be seeing each dollar that you put in as a $10 bare minimum return. Because I think if we're looking at 10x gains, we're not chasing 100x bags, which is fine to do once you've got these more safer plays, or the plays that you believe to be more safer. Once you've got them into your portfolio and you're happy with that, maybe you can put 5, maybe 10% spread across a few more of the more riskier plays, just to try and bring that, that then if them slightly more risky altcoins do start going to the moon, then you can layer them out and and get yourself out with some even bigger gains, and obviously turn your portfolio into something that you beyond most people's dreams. Now, can you bring the income up? So there's ways to do this. You can work extra hours. You might be able to have a food delivery job on the side, or maybe you can do e-commerce. Something, if you're creative, then you can maybe sell a skill. You can maybe do YouTube thumbnails. You can maybe do print on demand. There's loads of little things that you could possibly do if you've got that creative side. Maybe you could do YouTube and something that you're passionate about. So if you're really interested in sport or boxing, or if there's something that you're passionate about and you kind of know a little bit about, a lot of the time people might want to hear what you got to say on these things. So there is ways that you might be able to do this. I think the YouTube one would take longer, obviously, because you have to try and build as you go, and you get your videos out, make sure that that you're responding and you're talking to people. So this is one of the ways. I mean, there are many, and I'm sure you'll be able to find one that fits you the most. Then it's about researching the coins that you're interested in. So if you see a few coins, you might do that via YouTube. You might do it via the Telegram, the Discords. You might be able to do it by their websites, market sentiment, their social media platforms, things like that. You can get some really good information for any coin that you decide that you want to invest in. So then next thing I would do is look at on ramps and off ramps. So get multiple exchanges. Your OKX, Binance, Coinbase, KuCoin. You get Kraken. Get whatever's more applicable to the region you live in. Make sure you get 2 or 3 exchanges, because sometimes during the height of a bull market and the frenzy that kicks in, some of these websites don't be able to handle the traffic. They might be able to, you might be a bit stuck. So you need to be able to have multiple on ramps and off ramps. So get KYC'd into the exchanges you want to get into. Make sure you're building that spread portfolio and having the ability to go onto these different platforms if you want to sell come to the 2025 bull run. Another important thing is to not get greedy and hold for unrealistic gains, as you will get wrecked. Now, as you know, in 2021, this happened to a lot of people. We were all holding for the 100k Bitcoin. We were all looking for a 1k quant. We were all looking for these targets that maybe were just that little bit too high. But the thing is, it was in frenzy mode. So you got to try and again get that mindset right, because the last thing you want to do is see your portfolio on paper hit ludicrous gains, like big gains, and you're going, yeah, this is going to go even bigger, another 2x, another X, and then it crashes, because that's the moment where you're like, oh no, I should have got out of this when I had the chance. And yeah, on the way down, it does layer down a little bit. Sometimes it goes vertical down, but sometimes it layers down a little bit. Depends what coin you're in, and you can probably get a little bit back. But even then, you've wasted all this time that we've done, and we've built all this time up, built all these DCAs in. We don't want to be making the mistake of being a little bit too greedy and holding for them unrealistic gains. Because if you end up wrecked, that's such a demoralizing feeling. You don't want to go there. So then, next thing, storage for your coins. So there's Trezor, there's Ledger, there's Tangent Wallet. Whichever one you prefer, I would recommend straight away getting yourself one of these wallets. Store your crypto safely, because the adage goes, not your coins, not your crypto. So there's something to think about there. Again, I might do a video actually just going through some of the pros and cons of a few of these different wallets at some stage, just to kind of give you a bit more of a background on that. But we'll do that at another time. This is just a little overview, and decide and get clear on your goal, because it's important to have them targets. Now, you can either do this in a couple of ways. You can do this by selecting the amount of coins that you want. So you've got your 5, but you want, say, 100,000 HBAR. So if you know that you get to 100,000 HBAR, how do you want to layer out from that? So you've layered in, you've got to your 100,000 HBAR, the bull run kicks in. Now, are you going to be layering out? Are you going to wait for that dollar? Some people might, in which case your 100,000 is 100,000. Straight off the bat, then it's simple. But you might want to get to 120,000 and layer out at 70. Or even get to just your 100,000, layer out 70, layer out 80, 90, just below the round numbers. I think is a better way to do it. But you're layering out. So you're making sure that you're taking profits on the way up. Because when it does hit that top, and no one ever times the bottom and the tops perfectly, which is why a lot of people are still so fearful about going, well, I want to try and get in at the lowest possible cost price, which is human nature. You do want to do that, of course, but it's not going to happen. You very rarely time the bottom, and you'll very rarely time the top. So if you've got your price targets in mind, make sure they're realistic. Set that a little bit over the top realistic gain, because you can maybe let 10% of that ride, and sell that at a price that makes it a bigger X. Of course, you can do that. But I think that if we look to try and just keep it nice and simple, look for our 10Xs the best we can, and make sure we build our bags, that's the best way to do it for me. And that's the way I'm going to be doing it. Because, again, you don't want to be left holding that bag right the way down into 2025, end of 2025, 2026. And then you've got to maybe wait to the 2030 bull run. And the thing about the 2030 bull run as well is, which a lot of people, I don't know if there's as many people speaking about this, but 2030 bull run could be so big in terms of its regulation that it'll become a bit more stock market like. They won't like them levels of volatility. At the minute, we're in a very volatile asset class, which, can cause it to just drop in a second, but it can also cause it to moon in a second. And they're the bits. That's why we've got a chance to make actual life-changing money within the crypto market, because when the heavy regulation comes in, when the heavy, big companies are involved in this, they're not going to want that level of fluctuation. So they'll run it like the stock market. And that's the thing you've got to be wary of. So maybe 2030 might be too late. This might be the last time to do it. So something to think about. I mean, I could be wrong. 2030 could be even bigger than 2025. Who knows? But for me, I'm erring on the side of caution with that. But as always, good luck. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's just a bit of an insight into how I think a portfolio could be built in 2023. Again, thanks for all the subscribers, all the likes, the comments. It's really appreciated. And I'll see you again tomorrow. So take it easy.